But it is not at 7:30.
Yeah, just 30 seconds left, Guruji.
Yeah. So श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वसुदेवसुतम् देवम् कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णम् वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we have been able to continue with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Today we are meeting on a very momentous day when our Sri Matam has just announced the next successor of Peethadipati, who is going to assume the Peethadipati-ship on Akshaya Tritiya day, Wednesday, 30th of April. The preliminary rituals have started today in Sri Mata, as you might have seen. We are fortunate that we are living in an era when a new Acharya is coming to bless us. We are having Akshaya Tritiya on 30th, and 2nd of May, we have Shankara Jayanti. So we have all these events, sacred events, lined up during the coming week. Coming to Bhagavad Gita, we have come to chapter 5 towards the end. Chapter 1 was Arjuna Ushada Yoga. Chapter 2 was a summary of Bhagavad Gita. Sankhya Yoga. Chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, giving the various techniques of Karma Yoga. Chapter 4 was Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. That is, from Karma Yoga to proceed to Jnana. What are the steps? What is the necessity? Etc. And now we are in chapter 5, which is Sannyasa Yoga. That is dropping of activities. That is the main subject here. Mentally or otherwise. Dropping of activities, how it helps the Karma Yogi, how it helps to become a Jnani. So, we are on shloka number 25. लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधा यथात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः. 24 is over, you said, no, Rajani? Rajani?
Yes, Mama, 24 is over.
Okay, right. लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः. Madhusudana Saraswati explains this very nicely. He says, Prathamam yajnadibhi kshenakalmashaha. The Karma Yogi, we are always referring to Vaidika karmas, as we have seen. So by performing yajnas, etc., Agnihotram, etc., he has got rid of all his sins. Kshena kalmashaha. Tataha antakarana shuddhya rishayaha. In this process, they have made their minds pure, purified their minds. So they have being called Rishayaha, they are being called Rishis. Rishi is one, by definition, who is able to grasp Veda mantras from space. They are able to see the Veda mantras, not listen. As if you are seeing on a screen. They are able to see the Veda mantras on their mental screen and they express it and somebody takes it down. That is how all these Veda mantras have come down to us. So he is called a Rishi. Mantra drashta. That is the definition of a Rishi. One who sees the mantra. Then Sukshma Vastu Vivechana Samarthaha Sanyasinaha. Because we are saying Labante Brahma Nirvana. They attain moksha, we are saying. So moksha can be attained only by a jnani. So for attaining jnana, they have become a sannyasi. Mentally or otherwise, they have dropped their karmas, attachment to karmas. Sukshma Vastu Vivechana Samarthaha Sanyasinaha. That means they are masters in analyzing subtle aspects of Parabrahma, Sukshma Vastu. Because unless you are able to do that, you will still come back to the level of karma, to get out of the cycle of karma and to really concentrate on Parabrahma. Because the concept of Parabrahma is subtle, he says, Sukshma Vastu Vivechana Samarthaha Sanyasinaha. Tataha Shravanadi Paripakena Chinnadvaidaha. Because next sentence we are saying Chinnadvaidaha. That means duality has been extinguished. They have left duality behind. They have got to the plane of Advaita now. So how this happened? After equipping themselves with the prerequisites for Jnana Marga, that is Viveka Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutva, four qualifications we have seen before. So they have equipped themselves with that, and then they go to a guru and they listen to Mahavakyas. Shravanadi Paripakena. Their knowledge is mature by listening to Mahavakyas. That way they have abandoned dualities. Tataha nididhyasana paripakena samyatatmanha paramatmanyeva ekagra chittaha. Because then we are saying etatmanaha. Etatmanaha means they have full control over their minds. Minds including sense organs, sense objects, etc., etc. Because they are all secondary to mind. If you have control the mind, you have control the secondary aspects. So he says, how did it happen? After Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, three steps we have seen. So Nididhyasanam is meditating and making it yourself, your part of yourself. That is Nididhyasana. Mananam is meditating, and if there are doubts, you go back to the Guru and then get them clarified. You have not still reached full fruition. Full fruition is reached in Nididhyasana state. He says, Tataha Nididhyasana Paripakena. Full maturity has been obtained. Samyatatmanaha. Now you are able to say that you have full control over your mind. Paramatmanyeva ekagra chittaha. What does it mean? Full control over mind. It means their mind is always permanently focused towards Paramatma. Paramatmanyeva, only towards Paramatma. Ekagra chittaha. Focus with single pointed attention. एतादृशाश्च द्वैतादर्शित्वेन सर्वभूतहिते रताः. So he's building up, that shloka step by step, beautifully. Madhusudana Saraswati. Now, etadrishascha, having reached that stage, jnani stage, dvaitadarshittvena, since they have no more use for dvaita, they have left behind dvaita, chinnadvaidhaha. there is no more Dvaita in them. Hence, Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. They are engaged in doing what is good to all the beings, doing what is Hita, what is good, what is beneficial to all the beings. Sarvabhuta, no exception, no friend, no enemy, no higher, no lower, no man, no animal, Sarvabhuta. What is good for every living being, what is beneficial for every living being, they will keep continuing to do that. They will not bother about honor and dishonor, pleasure and pain, etc. All those dualities are taken leave from of them. So this is how this Jnani has become one who helps everyone in need. Everyone in need. Even though you may not recognize your need, he will help you. This is the idea of Sarvabhuta Hitayarataha. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. Such people have attained moksha even while they are holding their body. In the last shloka itself, Brahma Bhutaha Adhigachati, we said. Jivan neva Brahma Bhutaha Sanna Adhigachati. This was Shankara's explanation. Even neva. Even while living in this body, they have become Parabrahma. So, Brahma Nirvanam Labhante, they attain moksha. And Nirvanam has two meanings. So I think we saw it last time. One is a perfect calm of Parabrahman, complete Shanti, no agitation, nothing of that sort. And simultaneously, liberation from the samsara, from this to and fro, coming and going and coming into this world of births and rebirths. So liberation from samsara and perfect calm of Brahman, both these are aspects of Brahma Nirvana. Nirvana means these two. So they are in that state. Labhante Brahma Nirvana. There is a passage in Ishavasya Upanishad. As you may be knowing, Ishavasya Upanishad is the perhaps shortest Upanishad. It gives the essence of Vedanta. There it says in mantra number 7, Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vidanataha tatrapo mohat kastokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. The very famous mantra. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva abhut vidanataha. In that person who is a jnani, all beings are same as his own Atma. All Sarvani Bhutani, all beings are same as his own Atma. So whatever he looks at the outside world, he does not look anything different from his own Atma. That is his state. In that state, Tatrako Mohakka Shokaha, in that state, how can there be a scope for delusion, for grief? Ekatvam Anupashyataha, because he is continuously in a state of Advaita, continuously in a state of Samadarshanam. We saw Samadarshanam earlier. He does not distinguish between different beings and himself. So, that is Brahma Nirvana. That is where they are Sarvabhuta Hitaya Rataha. These are the characteristics of Jnani. कामक्रोध वियुक्तानां यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्म निर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मनाम्. This is a reiteration of the previous shloka. Now, this kind of jnani, yatinam yata chetasam. Yati means it's a sannyasi. Another word for sannyasi is yati. This is a traditional sannyasi, the one who has taken sannyasa, who has gone into sannyasa ashrama. He is called a yati. Why he is called yati? because he has controlled his mind. But still, even after taking sannyasa, some little old vasanas may stay. Then that is not good enough for you to attain jnana. So he is emphasizing eta chetasam. This is the explanation given by Shankara himself. The minds are fully under control. यतीनां सन्यासिनां यतचेतसां संयत अंतःकरणानां कामक्रोध वियुक्तानां, they have completely rid themselves of kama and krodha, desire and anger. Then only you can be called a yati. This is an objective for an yati. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatina. Yati by definition is rid of kama krodha. But by chance, if there are some subtle vasanas, he is saying eta chetasam. You have to get over them. In that case, viditatmanam, you are Viditatmanam is interpreted as Samyak Darshinam by Shankara. That means they have the right perception. What is right perception? Atma, Anatma, Vivekam. What is Atma, what is Anatma? That if you understand, that is right perception. And they are always focused on Atma, they don't have, they neglect Anatma. That is their characteristic. So that is why he said, Vidita Atma, one who knows his Atma, means what? One who is always wedded to his Atma. Samyak Darshina. For such people, Yatinam, Yatachetatam, Kamakrodha Viyuktanam, Viditatmanam. These are their characteristics. For them, Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. They are always in a state of moksha, given mukti. While living in this body, they have attained to mukti. And that stays with them all the time. Vartate means it is there. It is not going to go away anywhere. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate, that moksha is ever with them. Adhitaha, what is Adhitaha? Adhitaha has been explained by Shankara as Ubhayataha in two ways. What two ways? Jivatam Mritanam cha, while living in this body and after dropping this body also. Both states, their moksha is not affected. Their moksha is not affected. Abhitaha normally means in all ways. The direct meaning of word abhitaha means in all respects, in all ways. Now, what are the all respects for a sannyasi? So, there are only two. Ubhayataha, Jivatam, Mritanam cha. Lavante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayah Kshenakalmashaha Chinnadvaidha Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hitayarataha Kamakrodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam Sparshan Kritva Bahirbhahyan चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा मनसाभ्यान्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनो बुद्धिः निर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यस्तदा मुक्त एव सः. Now, these two shlokas are an introduction to Dhyana Yoga, which is the subject of next chapter, chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga, sitting and meditating. That is Dhyana Yoga. Sitting in a place and meditating on Parabrahma. Now, this is for a person who has mastered Karma Yoga, who has attained all that is required of a jnani and not yet become a jnani. Now, that aspect will become more and more clear when we go to chapter 6. So, he has to practice to become a jnani. What he should practice? Practice meditation. That is what the Shastra prescribes. Nididhyasana, he said. What is Nididhyasana? Continuous meditation so that your mind has become extinct and it has become Parabrahma. No more mind, no more thoughts. That is the state. So that state you will reach by practicing only, isn't it? You have to practice. Everything comes through practice. That practice is Dhyana Yoga. Now, a summary of the details which are covered in the next chapter, he has given in these two shlokas as an introduction. Bhagavan says, Sparshan kritva bahirбhāhyān chakshustaiva bhruvoho. Sparshan kritva bahihi. Sparsha means objects of senses. Sparsha means actually touch, object of touch. By definition, all the five senses are included, not just touch, smell, vision, etc. So all external contacts you are keeping out. Bahihi. You are keeping out all external contact. That is, when you are closing your eyes, you have lost contact with all the world. That is what he is saying. That is the first step. Sparshan kritva bahirбhāhyān. Bhāhyān sparshan. That means all the objects which are external to you, keep them out. Chakshustaiva bhruvoho. Keep your eyes, Chakshu means eyes, keep your eyes in the center of your eyelashes, eyebrows. Fixing the eye between the eyebrows. Chakshushchaiva antare bhruvoho. Pranapano samau kritva. That is, prana is, I think we saw it earlier, incoming breath, and apana is the outgoing breath in this context, not always. When we are talking about five, prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana, then there apana has got a slightly different meaning. But in the context of pranayama, which is what he is talking about, prana, apano, samau kritva, the incoming breath and the outgoing breath are equalized. That means there is no agitation because of prana. Prana is in a very smooth, natural process. Nasa bhyantaracharinav, the air movement inside the nostrils. Nasa bhyantara, inside the nostrils. Charinav, they keep moving in and out. That is samau kritva, they are equalized. Yata indriya mano buddhihi munir moksha parayanaha. Yata indriya manaha buddhihi. He has brought under control. All this is part of Dhyana Yoga, mind you. He has sat for meditation and he has achieved all this. Sense organs are under control. Mind is under control. Sense organ means the eyes, the ears, etc. If somebody goes and talks to him, he will not be able to hear anything. If something is shown in front of him, he will not be able to see it. That is bringing all these sense organs under control. Swami Vivekananda says in one of his lectures that if a person who meditates can sit in the traffic of Flora Fountain in Mumbai, a very busy place, and still continue to meditate properly, then he is a yogi, jnana yogi. This is how he defines. So that is this. Yata indriya mano buddhihi, mind as well as intellect, as well as sense organs are all under control. Munihi means mananashelaha, given to meditation on Parabrahma. And what is his goal? Moksha parayanaha, he is intent on achieving moksha. Vigatecha bhaya krodho yasada muktaye vasaha. Why he is mentioning this? Vigatecha bhaya krodho. He has crossed that stage, isn't it? Desire, fear, anger, they have all left him. That is why he has sat down on meditation, not necessarily. Because meditation is a practice, isn't it? We don't know in what stage of that progress, that road you are. If you are in the beginning stage, you cannot call yourself Vigadeksha Bhaya Krodha. Munir Moksha Parayanaha, yes. At that stage, you can call yourself. That means you have sufficiently advanced on the path, then you can call yourself Vigatecha Bhaya Krodha, not in earlier stages. That is why to make it clear that this person has advanced on this path. It's not the first day of his meditation. He has been meditating for years and years, and he has been able to bring under control all these sense organs, mind, intellect, etc. And he has overcome desire, fear, and anger. See, three main emotions he is mentioning. Because if there is a desire lurking in his mind, and if that object of desire comes in front of him, he will open his eyes and look at that object. That is what happened to even great sages like Vishwamitra, isn't it? Then fear for his life, because life is important even when you are moksha parayan. You have to maintain your body. So if you think there is a wild animal coming to you are meditating in a cave in a forest, so bhaya, krodha, some disturbance, you feel there is a disturbance, and then you become angry. So these are things which are natural to an aspirant when he is not sufficiently advanced on the Dhyana Yoga path. So that is why he is mentioning here. So you have to be on your guard, in short. If you have fulfilled all these qualifications, yes, sada mukta eva saha. If you are a person like that, you are ever liberated. Sada muktaha. Even when you are not meditating, that is the meaning of sada. You cannot be in meditation all the 24 hours, isn't it? Meditation, that is samadhi. People like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi have been in samadhi state for many days, 3 days, 4 days, even 10 days. But ultimately they have to come out of samadhi and look at the world. But even in that stage, they are still liberated only. There is no change in their mental state. That is what he is emphasizing. Sada mukta eva, emphasis. There is no doubt that he is ever liberated, ever eternally emancipated. न तस्य मोक्षः अन्यः कर्तव्यः अस्ति. That is mukta eva saha. That is how he is interpreting Shankara. He says, there is no separate moksha for him. He is already mukta. He is already mukta. So there is no separate moksha for him. Because he said, na moksha parayanaha. So he was expecting to get liberation. Now that stage is gone. If you have advanced in that state, you are already liberated. What is there for you to look forward to? So he is emphasizing Sada Mukta Eva Saha. So this is the introduction to Dhyana Yoga, which will come in the next chapter. Sparshan Krutva Vahirbhakyan Chakshvattaivantere Bhruvoho Pranapanau Samau Krutva Masabhyantaracharino Yatendriya Buddhi Nirmokshaparayanah Vigateच्छा Bhayakrodho Yasada Mukta Eva Saha Bhoktaram Yajñatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Shanti Vricchati. This is the closing sloka of this chapter. Sort of, because he touched upon Dhyana Yoga, now he wants to, because subject of this chapter is Sannyasa Yoga, so he wants to emphasize what is the state of sannyasi, which he covered in the previous sloka. Now he closes with that subject once again. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam attvamam shanti vricchati. That jnani who has become liberated, mukta eva saha. And the previous sloka also we talked about that, Brahma Nirvana, etc. So that mukta, that person who has been liberated, Shantim Ricchati, he is ever in a state of peace. He attains peace. Shantim Ricchati, he attains peace. He attains peace. Why? On what basis? Mam Jnatva, knowing me. Knowing me means Paramatma. Knowing Paramatma, because Krishna stands for Paramatma, not for Krishna. Krishna stands for that we have seen before. So, Mam Jnatva, knowing me, he attains peace. So the point is knowing him. Knowing means attaching yourself to him. That we have seen before. Just now we saw. You have no other thought other than Paramatma. Now, when you think of Paramatma, when you meditate on Paramatma, what do you meditate on? So he is giving some guidance, some clues. We are always saying meditate on Paramatma, meditate on. What to meditate on? There are many ways. Many books on yoga will teach you many, many things. Even Srimad Bhagavatam has a lot of information in this yoga meditation. You can, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, you can meditate on the form of Mahavishnu, the full form, right from head to toe, or you can concentrate on one part, maybe say face, or you can concentrate only on eyes. So like this, Bhagavata gives you a lot of guidance. But that's not the only way to meditate. There are many, many ways given in many other shastra. Now here he is giving some guidance. What are the aspects that you should meditate on? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Paramatma is the enjoyer of all yajnas and all tapas. All yajnas and all tapas which you are performing or being enjoyed by him. When you say enjoyed, the fruit of yajna and tapas will go to him. Well, obviously, it goes to him. But that is not the only thing which Shankara is nicely extending that argument. He says, yajnanam tapasam cha kartrurupena devatarupena cha. Not only as devata, where he is accepting your yajna and tapas, and the fruit of yajna and tapas, not only that, Kartrurupena, the very person who is performing that yajna, the very person who is performing that, engaged in that tapas, that also is Bhagavan only. He is no different because he has attained that stage, isn't it? Just now we saw, isn't it? Sada Mukta Yeva Saha. What does it mean? He has attuned himself to Paramatma in all respects. So the Karta is also the enjoyer. Both are same. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Another aspect is he is the overlord of all the worlds. It's supposed to be 14 worlds. 7 above earth, including earth, and 7 below us, Patala, etc. So above, right up to Brahmaloka. Now, this is what the Shastra teaches us. Out of 14, we are in one, Bhumi. So, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. You think of him as the overlord of all the created worlds. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. This is most important. Even if you don't consider Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam one aspect, second aspect is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Even if you neglect these two aspects, but if you concentrate on Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, you will get all the merit because that quality is like that. He is the friend of all living beings, all living, no exception. Suhrit is a friend. What friend? Not an ordinary friend. A well-meaning friend. Suhrit. His part is always thinking of good for you, benefit for you. That is why he is known as Suhrit. So he says, Sarva Bhutanam Suhridam. In fact, this expression Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, Bhagavan is going to use again in other future chapters also. Very important. Now, this is being interpreted by Shankara like this beautifully. Sarva praninam pratyupakara nirapekshayataya upakarinam. What is Suhurt definition? Without expecting anything in return, he will help you. That is the definition of Suhrit. Even in the mundane world, if we have a friend who is going to help us when we are in need, without expecting anything in return, then he is a Suhrit. If he is expecting, then he is called Mitram. That is coming in future chapter. Suhran Mitram, Udavati, etc. So, Sarva Praninam Pratyupakara Nirapekshataya Upakarinam. Without expecting anything in return, He is out to help you. That is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. In fact, he is expanding it further. Adi Shankara is expanding it further. Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshayam Sarva Karma Phaladhyaksham Sarva Pratyaya Sakshanam Mam Narayanan. He says Mam, that Mam is expanding it like this. Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshayam. One who is living in the hearts of all living beings. Hridayashe Arjuna Tishtati, Bhagavan says in another sloka. For all living beings, he is there, all in the heart of all. Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshayam, Sarva Karma Phaladhyaksham. This does not apply to the Jnani, this applies to ordinary people. Sarva Karma Phaladhyaksham. For all the activities, he is the one who ensures that you get the fruit. Phala Adhyaksham. Presiding deity of giving you the fruit of all your karma. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshanam. Pratyaya in this context means the ideas in the mind. Whatever you think, he is the witness. You cannot do anything, you cannot think of anything hidden from him because he is there, witness in the heart. So these are the various characteristics which you can use for meditation. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshanam Mam Narayanam. Because Narayanam by definition means the goal for all human beings, isn't it? The destination for all human beings. So, this is how he is giving the guidance. Even while meditating, you can think of all these things. Bhoktaram yajñatapatam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutana jnatva mam shanti vricchati. इति श्रीमहाभारते शतसाहस्र्यां संहितायां वैयासिक्यां भीष्मपर्वणि श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे संन्यासयोगो नाम और कर्मसंन्यासयोगो नाम there are two versions. पंचमोऽध्यायः. Next is Dhyana Yoga, chapter 6. The idea which here it says Atma Samyama Yoga. This is another name for this chapter. Second name for this chapter is Atma Samyama Yoga. That means yoga of self-control and yoga of meditation. Dhyana Yoga. Now, Bhagavan is straight away starting with some preliminaries to Dhyana Yoga. Before you sit for meditation, he wants to clarify certain aspects which he is doing in the first few shlokas. So they are not really directly connected with dhyana, you may think. Hey, you said dhyana yoga, you even introduced with 2 shlokas, but I don't find dhyana yoga. You may feel like that. But this is a preliminary to dhyana yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anachita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sadanyasi Cha Yogi Cha Niragnir Nachakriyaha. Now here he wants to emphasize the definition of sannyasi which he has been giving from earlier chapters. Sannyasi, by the traditional interpretation, change of ashrama to sannyasa ashrama, yes, that he is a sannyasi. But we are not talking only about that sannyasi, we are also talking about karma sannyasi, a karma yogi who has, by dint of karma yoga practice, has been able to abandon karmas, abandon the doership of karmas. So he may not have dropped karmas. Still he is a sannyasi. We saw the concept. Like Janaka. Janaka is a standing example we have been looking at. Now, he is coming back to that point to say that because the Dhyana Yoga is covering all the aspirants. You may be a beginner karma yogi, You may be a jnani who has reached the pinnacle. He is coming to all those aspects. So everyone is doing dhyana yoga. Maybe perfect manner, imperfect manner, etc., etc. But since we are talking about dhyana yoga, which is a common thing for a beginner, a karma yogi, beginner, and an accomplished jnani, he is now saying, he is emphasizing that aspect which is sannyasi and yogi. That is, yogi is a karma yogi. Sannyasi is someone who has dropped all karmas. Someone who has dropped all karmas. The traditional sannyasi he is talking about here because he is putting him in opposition to yogi. So he says, Anachita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha karyam karma. One who does karma which is he is obligated to do, which he is enjoined to do. That is karyam karma. Kamya viparitam agnihotraadikam karma. That is what Adi Shankara says. Kamya viparitam. You should not have any desire in your mind because karmas are defined as kamya karmas. Some of them are kamya karmas. Some are ordained karmas. Some are kamya karmas. Yeah, some are prohibited karmas, of course. So there are different aspects of karmas we have seen before. But we are now talking about karmas which are compulsory as opposed to those karmas driven by desire. So that is why he says, Kamya Viparitam Agnihotraadikam karma, like Agnihotra. It is a compulsory karma. You don't expect any fruit from it. So that Karya karma, one who does that, Yaha Karoti, Anashritaha karma phalam. Whatever you do, you are not expecting the fruit. You are not expecting any fruit. Anashritaha karma phalam. If you are doing like that, even if you are engaged in karma, karyam karma karoti, even then, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha nirna cha kriyaha. He is a sannyasi. He is a yogi. You can call him yogi, you can call him sannyasi. It doesn't matter. You can call him karma yogi because he is still doing karma. You can call him sannyasi because he has left all desire for fruit. He is as good as a sannyasi, as good as the traditional sannyasi. So that is why he is saying sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is common. He can be called a yogi, he can be called a sannyasi. Parityagaha yasya asti saha sannyasi. Because sannyasi by definition means one who has abandoned karma. Here he has abandoned doership of the karma, ownership of the karma and the fruit. Yogi, yogaha chitta samadhanam. That means concentration of the mind, complete control over agitations of the mind. Chitta samadhanam. He will focus the mind on Parabrahma. Samadhana means focusing. He is a yogi. So, since this man, though he is doing karma, karyam karma, though he is doing, since he has left the fruit behind, he can be called a sannyasi because he has abandoned the fruit. He can be called a yogi because he is still doing karma yogi. Nirna cha kriyaha. Now he is comparing this person with a person who has dropped karmas because he has taken to sannyasa ashrama, but he has not developed the full characteristics. That is why he says niragni. Niragni means one who has dropped agni. Nirgataha agnayaha karmanga bhutaha yasmat saha niragni. Shankara is so compassionate as to define even simple terms. Nirgataha agnayaha karmanga bhutaha. All those agnis which are part of daily duty, like Agnihotra. He has dropped them because he became a sannyasi. Sannyasi, by definition, has nothing to do with Agni. A man who is in sannyasa ashrama can nowhere go near Agni, by definition. That is why even food he cannot cook. The grihastha can cook. If the wife is not there, the person can cook. In fact, it is recommended. Swayam Paka, it is called. Instead of eating from somebody else's hand, You can cook yourself, that is recommended. Our acharyas have recommended it frequently. But if you are a sannyasi, you have to live only on bhiksha because you cannot cook, because you have dropped your agni. That is why niragnihi. Now we are talking about a person who has taken to sannyasa, who is wearing kashaya vastra, but desire is still there, subtle in his mind. That is why he says, na niragnihi. He is not to be compared with that man. This man is superior to him, even though he is not a sannyasi. But they are all very, what should I say, forward-looking thoughts, revolutionary thoughts. But even Bhagavan has given us all these revolutionary thoughts, even at that age. Na niragnihi, na chakriyaha. Similarly, Agni you might have abandoned, but you may be doing other activities. That is why na cha akriyaha. Akriyaha means who has dropped all karmas other than Agni also. Anagni sadhana api avidyamanaha kriyaha tapodanadikaha yasya. Like tapas, like danam. These are activities which you may be doing. Even though you have dropped Agni. Agni karya you have dropped. But you may be doing tapas, you may be doing dhanam, etc. So those are kriyas, but you are not doing them. Nacha atriyaha. You have dropped all those karmas also. Not only you have dropped Agni, you have dropped all those karmas. And you are thinking that you are a sannyasi because you have dropped everything. No, you are not a sannyasi in this, uh, from this point of view. कर्मफलसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासात् सन्न्यासित्वम् योगाङ्गत्वेन च कर्मानुष्ठानात् कर्मफलसङ्कल्पस्य चित्तविक्षेपहेतोः परित्यागात् योगित्वं च इति गौणम् उभयम्. Ubhayam Gaunam. Both the gunas, sannyasi cha yogi cha, both the gunas have come to this man. He is explaining that. Because he has dropped the fruits of all the karmas, he has become a sannyasi. That is simple. Why he is called a yogi? Because he is still doing karmas. Karmanushtanat. But doing karmas without expecting the fruit, because fruit is a distraction. Chitta vikshepa hetoho. When you are doing a karma expecting the fruit, fruit is a distraction for the mind. So you are not really concentrating on the karma or on the or on Parabrahma by definition. That is why he is repeatedly emphasizes the need for dropping attachment to the fruit. If your mind is going towards the fruit, you cannot concentrate on Parabrahma, you cannot concentrate even that activity which you are doing. That is why he is saying, Chitta Vikshepa Heto. Oh, this is a cause of agitation in the mind, diversion of the mind. What? This fruit. So that he has left Karma Phala Sankalpasya. Parityagat. Since he has left it, that yogi is also to be included here. Yogitvam Chaiti Gaunam Ubhayam. Both the characteristics are to be taken in him. So he says Gaunam because it is secondary. It's not primary, because primary we will confuse with the man who has taken sannyasa ashrama, isn't it? Or yogi also, there are traditional definitions. We are not talking about those traditional definitions. That is why he is saying it is gaunam ubhayam, secondary. Secondary yogi, secondary sannyasi, both those qualities come to him. Now, next shloka, he is going even further. Yes, sannyāsamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava nasyasam yasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kasyana. One who is called a sannyasi, what is called a sannyasam, the traditional sannyasi, wearing the ochre robes. Yes, sannyāsamiti prahuhu, that which is known as sannyasam, yogam tam vidhi pandava, that is also yogam. There is no distinction between the two. Don't think that sannyasi, the traditional sannyasi, is different from this karma yogi who is doing karma, because by definition sannyasi has left karma behind, whereas karma yogi is doing the karma. So obviously from the first look, both are entirely different, 100% different, but they are the same. Why? Nahyasanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Asanyasta sankalpaha. Unless you have dropped sankalpa, unless you have dropped the idea of the fruit, he does not even say fruit. Sankalpa is the idea of the fruit. A running aesthetic thought of the fruit is sankalpa. Even that you have dropped. Therefore, chitta vikshep hetoho phala sankalpasya sannyasthatvat. What he said in the previous sloka, he is emphasizing here. The cause of agitation, cause of diversion of the mind, that is the fruit, that sankalpa, you have got rid of. So, you are, even if you are a yogi, it is sannyasa only. Even if you are a yogi, it is sannyasa only. He wants to drive this point home again and again very clearly. Samadhanavam avikshipta chittaha bhavet. That is yogi by definition. He has concentrated, fully focused on Parabrahma, and his mind is not distracted by the fruit. Avikshipta chittaha. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha tasanyadesha yogi cha na niragnir nirakriyaha yam यम संन्यासमिति प्राहुः योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न च संन्यस्त संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते. Here he is talking about two types of, now he is coming to Dhyana Yoga, because Dhyana Yoga was the subject. Why he took up the sannyasa and yoga? Because that is the final goal you have to reach. Even for dhyana yoga. Even for dhyana yoga, that is the final goal you have to reach. So goal has been defined once again clearly. Now let us look at the technicalities of dhyana. Aururukshor muner yogam karma karanamachyate. Yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamatkaranamachyate. Now, dhyana yoga, he is talking about two personalities. Both are in Dhyana Yoga. One personality is just a beginner, but he wants to achieve the goal. His goal is there, very clearly defined, but he is a beginner. The other man, he has completed, master. He doesn't need any more Dhyana Yoga, that master. So, both are now. Arurukshoho is the beginner. He wants to ascend. Arurukshoho means one who wants to ascend the path of Dhyana Yoga. Yoga Rudha is one who has ascended. That means he has mastered yoga. Now, for the first one, the beginner, Muni, even though he is a beginner, he is a Muni. He is being qualified as a Muni. He is not just a person, ordinary person. He is a Muni, means he is given to meditation, Manana Shila, because he has practiced meditation. He has practiced meditation, but he has not attained the goal. He wants to attain the goal. That is why he is called Arurukshuhu. Aururukshor munehe yogam aururikshoho. That means he wants to ascend the path of yoga, advance in the path of yoga. For him, karma karanamuchyate. For him, what is the motivating cause? Motivating cause is karma. Dhyana yogasya thalanirapekshah karma yoga Mahiranga sadhanam. For dhyana yoga, the karma yoga without expecting the fruit. Thala nirapekshaha karma yoga. Bahiranga sadhanam. For the such a person, dhyana yoga is an external practice. Bahiranga sadhanam. External practice. He sits down and practices meditation, but he is a karma yogi. He is not meditating all the 24 hours. He is doing karmas. In between, when he gets time, he sits down for meditation. That is why he says Bahiranga Saga. It is an external means of focusing his mind. That such a person is Aruruksho. For he is quoting from Mahabharata. Adi Shankara quotes from Mahabharata. Naita adisham brahmanasya astivittam. Yasaikada mamata satyata cha shilam sthitir danda nidhanamarjavam. Tatat tatashkyoparamah kriyabhyaha. You cannot drop away karmas. That is why you are karma yogi. You can drop the attachment to the fruits. Dropping attachment to fruit, we have been talking all along. But that is, again, connected with so many virtues. You know, Mahabharata goes into those virtues. You keep cultivating those virtues simultaneously with your dropping of attachment to the fruit. Those, what are those virtues? Naita adhikam brahmanasya astivittam. For such a person, such a brahmana means such a person who is intent on attaining Brahman, there is no wealth equal to, he is giving a list. That is, this is the wealth for him, not the wealth which we think of. Yasa ekata, samata, satyata, ekata, unity. He doesn't want to see any diversity all around. We have seen before, na? Samadarshana. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne cha Brahmane Gavihasthini. He wants to go to that state. So, Ekata, Samata, Satyata, Samata, equality. Ekata is seeing oneness. Samata, equality. Satyata, he will never deviate from truth. Truth is basic. Sheelam, good character. He will never deviate from good character. Sthiti means being firm. Being firm in what you have taken up. Danda nidhanam arjavam. That is, arjavam is straightforwardness, integrity. And danda nidhanam is gentleness. Don't become harsh. That is the basic virtue you have to. Gentleness. Danda nidhanam arjavam tatat tatachcho paramah kriyabhyaha. If you keep on developing these virtues, uparamaha kriyabhyaha, whatever kriya you have undertaken, you can slowly drop those karmas. The tendency to drop the karmas will develop. Tatastasya uparamaha kriyabhyaha. Withdrawal from karmas will happen to you in due course if you develop these virtues. That is what Mahabharata teaches us, which Adi Shankara is quoting. So he says, if you are Arurukshu, you have to keep these things in mind. Now, what about the person who has reached the pinnacle, reached the peak? He is Yoga Rodha. He has ascended the peak of yoga. Yoga Rodhasya Tasyaiva, the same person. Tasyaiva is important. Same person who was Aruruksho earlier has become Yoga Rodha now. Same person. Now, we are not talking about two different persons. Because for him, karma karanam uchyate. For him, the motivating factor was karma, mind you. Karma was nourishing him. Where is the question of dropping the karmas? Karma was nourishing him because through karmas, he was developing the taste for dropping the fruit. I will do the karma without expecting the fruit. That is why all these qualities he is cultivating, ekata, samata, etc. So he has not achieved the maturity to drop the karmas. So karmas are required for him. Karmas are the nourishing nutrients for his advancement. For the person who has attained the peak, sasyaiva, for the same person, shamat karanam uchyate, sama is complete withdrawal from karmas. For him, karanam is the cause for peace of mind. The cause which will give you peace of mind so that you will get jnana and moksha, next stages. That peace, that quality, that preparatory quality is karana. What is the karanam? Shamaha, withdrawal from sarvakarmebhyaha nivrittihi. This is the withdrawal from all karmas. So this is the contrast of one who is a beginner and one who is a master. For a beginner, Karma is a motivating factor. Though he is developing the attitude of dissociating himself from the ownership of the karma and from the fruits of the karma. But for a person who is a master, he doesn't need the karma anymore. He doesn't need that nutrition. He has already matured. So he has dropped the karma. So that point he is making clearly. The person who is a beginner and the person who is a master. Aururukshor muner yogam karma karanamuchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamakkaranamuchyate. We'll stop for today and we'll continue tomorrow morning at 7 AM IST as usual. Any questions?
Those who have questions, please unmute yourself, turn on your video and ask questions. Any questions, anybody?
Namaskar. Namaskaram, Mama. In the 5th chapter, 26th shloka.
Earlier chapter.
Yeah, 5th
26.
one. Yes, Mama.
26. Yes,
Correct.
tell me.
27th, sorry, Mama. So you have mentioned about the Chakshu Chaivantaro Bhuvaho. The first. So, Mama, you said that we have to focus the eyes on in between the eyebrows. So is it like the closed eyes, or those the real eyes, or the internal eyes? What exactly?
Well, you can close your eyes. In fact, you are recommended to close your eyes, but the eyes should be mentally focused. This is a yoga practice. The practice,
Yes.
yoga teacher will tell you this. If you want to concentrate, just as pranayama is also a means of concentrating the mind, pranayama is the means of concentrating the mind. Similarly, focusing the eyes, in fact, he is going to come to that again. The same point. He is going to go into depth again in this chapter 6. So there also he is going to say this directing the eyes toward the center of the eyebrows is only for concentrating the mind toward the goal, which is Paramatma. Don't concentrate in the eyebrow point, in the middle point of the eyebrows. That is not the intention. He is going to make it clear. Bhagavan is going to make it clear.
And Mama, Muni and Sannyasi both are different, right? In terms of jnana.
Yes, definitely different. Muni is not necessarily, in fact, all our rishis, Valmiki and others, Vasishtha and others, they were not sannyasis, traditional sannyasis. They were all grihasthas, but they were all great munis. Yes.
In terms of jnana level, Mama, I mean, when you say jnana, they don't have that much like for the moksha, like what that spiritual, that one I was not understanding.
No. Who said that traditional sannyasa is a necessity for, that's what he has been saying repeatedly. That is exactly what he is saying. That is why he brought in Janaka as an example. So there is no need for you to go to sannyasa ashrama to become a jnani. As a karma yogi, as a grihastha, you can become a jnani. So Vasishtha was the greatest jnani that we know, but he was not a sannyasi. So like that.
Okay, ma'am. That's thank you.
Yeah.
Guruji, can you example of sannyasi? We know munis who are.
Example of sannyasi. Adishankara himself. Why do we need another example? Adishankara was the greatest sannyasi and the greatest jnani. He is the avatar of Parameshwara and he has been teaching us jnana. There are so many sannyasis in our history. Many are the sannyasis. There is no doubt of sannyasis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other question? Last question? No questions, Guruji.
Yeah, okay. We close for the day. Meet again tomorrow morning. 7 AM IST. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Shri Raja Rajeshwari Jaya Jaya.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, sir.